True or false, pay and benefits increase employee motivation? The answer, based on all the available social science research, is false. Pay and benefits do not increase motivation in the workplace. Now let me ask the question in a bit of a different way. True or false, pay and benefits impact employee motivation? As it turns out, the answer to that question is true. What's the difference? Stick around to find out. Okay, let's take that first question. Do pay and benefits increase motivation? The answer is no, they don't. Research tells us that increasing pay and benefits does not correlate to an increase in effort or productivity on the job. Now, you may get that short term, as an increase in pay and benefits can act like a shot of caffeine. But like caffeine, it wears off quickly, and the employee's performance eventually comes back down to where it was. Now that said, pay and benefits do impact motivation. And that's not just semantics. Here's what we know. When an employee perceives that their pay and benefits are fair and adequate, compensation no longer acts as an influencer of effort and productivity. However, if an employee perceives that their pay and benefits are unfair or inadequate, that can decrease motivation and increase disengagement. See the difference? Compensation doesn't increase motivation, but if you get it wrong, if the employee perceives that, all other things being equal, someone else is being paid more for doing the same job, then their effort, productivity, and engagement all suffer. Also, if an employee isn't earning enough to meet the demands of life, take care of their families, pay their bills, etc., then that employee is likely to be less motivated to stay and try. This is why many folks in roles with historically lower levels of compensation might move on just for money. Now, I know that this flies in the face of what some leaders believe. It contradicts leaders who say, look, my employees tell me that what would motivate them at work is more money. Take just a moment to think about that premise, that more money would motivate an employee to try harder. When you really think about it, you'll quickly recognize how absurd it is. Because if an employee says, I would try harder if you paid me more, what they're really saying is, I have another gear. I don't use it, you haven't seen it, but it's for sale, and you can buy it. And is that true? No, it's not. If you give that employee a raise, it's almost certain you'll get no discernible change in effort or output over time. And if it was true, if you had an employee who was only giving you partial effort while waiting for more of this, is that the kind of person you want on your team anyway? The truth is that when you ask employees what motivates them in the workplace, money rarely comes up. The top answers are more recognition and my relationship with my direct supervisor. These are the biggest influencers of employee engagement. So if you want your people to care and try and give their all, if you want them to have an emotional and psychological commitment to their work, then regularly give voice to their contributions and the difference they make in the lives of others. Also, care about them as a person, be an advocate for their professional development, and when the time comes, fight for pay increases that ensure their compensation remains fair and adequate. Remember, motivation isn't something we do to people. It's something they experience as a result of a variety of conditions being present in the workplace, most of which are created, installed, and maintained by you, by their bosses. If you want more information on this topic, check out my book, Cure for the Common Leader, What Physicians and Managers Must Do to Engage and Inspire Healthcare Teams, available on Amazon. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.